Hey there, it's Teacher Elizabeth with a new art tutorial for you. Today's project is in honor of World Oceans Day that is celebrated every June 8th. More than 70% of our Earth is covered by ocean, and 97% of the Earth's water is in the ocean. The oceans are home to millions of Earth's plants and animals, and many more species of animals have yet to be discovered because 80% of the ocean is unmapped and unexplored. The ocean is one of Earth's most valuable resources and provides half of the world's oxygen, billions of pounds of food, and also helps in regulating our climate. In gratitude for what the ocean does for us, we need to do our part to ensure its health and longevity. Consider joining a beach cleanup and reduce the use of single-use plastic bags. 100,000 marine animals are killed by plastic bags every year. For now, let's show appreciation for our oceans by making an artwork about it. Today we're going to create an underwater ocean scene. But before we get to that, I need to go through the materials with you. You will need 3 sheets of paper, a set of colored pencils, and a pencil. First, I need to show you how to draw fish. Start with this triangle on its side, then make a curved line to replace the far right side of the triangle. Next, you're going to add the pointed heart on its side as a tail. You're going to round out the far left point of the triangle so it's more like a face. You add an eye, you add a mouth, you add that half moon shape for the head, and the lightning bolts for the pattern. Another type of fish you could draw would start with a circle. Then we're going to draw the half moon shape for the face, and we're going to point out and round the left side of that circle to add for the mouth and face. Next, you'll be adding the eye, which will be 2 circles, one inside the other. Next, we're going for the tail, which will be a small trapezoid with another larger trapezoid attached to it, except that you'll angle the outer edges of that trapezoid so it's more diagonal. After that, you're going for the top fins, which will be rounded triangles, and then the part that's curved and attached to the back end of the fish. So again, we're going to make these triangles at the bottom, kind of rounded triangles, and then you connect to the body of the fish with those curved lines from the rounded triangle fins. I went in and changed up the face and curved the line a little bit, and then added a side fin behind the face. After that, I added pattern with all of those lines moving in the direction of the fins, and then tiger stripes. Now that we've practiced drawing the fish, we're now going to draw the environment where the fish will live, which will be underwater. First, I drew some curved lines to represent the bottom of the ocean, and now I'm drawing little rocks. Notice that the bottom of the rocks will be flat, so it feels like they're sitting on the bottom of the ocean. You can refer to the picture in this slide that shows you some examples of stuff that you could draw that you would find in the ocean. You can add anything from your imagination. This picture and this demonstration is just meant to give you ideas. Right now I'm drawing these cylinder shapes because underwater you find all kinds of crazy plant life in addition to the animal life. So I'm creating these little cylinders growing out of this rock, which later on I'll be able to color really brightly. In addition to that, I added those curvy lines for the seaweed. Right now I'm drawing like another curvy line that could be seaweed or coral. This is not a time to worry about perfection. Everything underwater is organic. So basically any shapes and forms you want to combine together to create your underwater scene is all good. Now I'm ready to draw one of the fish we practiced. So start with that circle, Then you're going to add the 2 trapezoids on the back for the tail. Next, I'm adding the face. Then I'm adding the fins on the top, the fins on the bottom. Next, I'm drawing the eye, refining the mouth a little bit, and adding some bubbles coming out. I'll do the same thing but smaller with a fish that's behind the first one that I drew. By drawing it smaller, it's going to make it appear further away. So draw some fish smaller and some fish bigger to give that illusion of depth. It'll make it look real even though you're working on a flat piece of paper. Now I'm going to move on to the second type of fish, that's the sideways triangle. So you draw the triangle, make that back side of the triangle curved, add the pointed heart on its side, the half moon for the face, the circle for the eye, the lightning bolts for the pattern, and just a straight line for the mouth. I'm going to repeat that exact same process but smaller to make the fish look like it's further away. And now I'm going to add rays of sunshine beaming through the water from the surface. So those are just going to be diagonal lines that are narrower at the top of the page and wider as they come down. This is going to be the way that we illustrate sunlight underwater. I'm adding a few more schools of fish, really small, so we get that sense of depth. The smaller fish will be further away, the larger fish will be closer and more detailed. And last but not least, I'm going to add detailed design to my fish. It's exactly the same way I did it in the initial example, but please feel free to design it and pattern it any way you want to make it your own. All right, now it's time for the fun part. We get to color it all in. I'm starting off with a pale yellow and white at the very top for the rays of the sun. Those lighter colors need to go down first, because if you put dark colors down first and the lighter colors on top, you're not going to see the light colors. So go ahead and err on the side of being a little too light at first. You can always layer colored pencil on to make it darker later. Colored pencil does erase a little bit, but it doesn't erase completely. So if you're a little careful with it at first, then you'll have a better chance of success later. You're also going to notice that I'm going ahead and outlining my pencil drawing right now so that when I add the water on top, I don't lose my drawing. Now I'm moving to the fish. I'm outlining those, outlining the rocks. I'm not making really dark outlines, by the way. You don't want everything outlined completely in black. Just use the color that you think you'll be coloring it in with. After I put one layer down of blue, I keep adding more and more layers, slowly making certain areas darker and letting other areas be lighter. Please choose whatever colors you want to, but be thinking about value, how light or dark your colors are, and color contrast. Color contrast is the variations in the colors themselves and how light and dark they are. This is what's going to differentiate different parts of your picture from one another. Now, moving to the floor of the ocean, I started off with a brown, very lightly, and then on top of it, I'm using that aqua blue that I've been using basically everywhere else. Remember, this picture is underwater, which means that everything's going to have that blue hue to it because the blue is going to be reflecting off of all of the things that you find underwater. Then I started adding black for the rocks, more blue, and now I moved to the fish. I chose kind of a red-orange color and red, but you pick whatever colors you want. One thing I do want to add is please add a little bit of that blue to the fish, because again, that blue is going to be reflecting off of everything that's underneath. And then I'm also adding a few details with the black. Don't outline the whole thing with the black. That's a big mistake. It'll make your picture look flat. Just add little accents of dark, like I'm doing here with the other fish that I colored in yellow and orange. I'm using the black just as accents for shadows, not as an outliner for every single thing you find underwater. When it comes to the rest of your picture, please color it in any way you want, just thinking about color contrast and value contrast. Contrast just means differences. So we want differences in color and differences in value, meaning how light or dark things are. You also want to make sure and add that blue on everything because it's underwater. That blue is going to impact everything that's underwater, like I'm doing right here. The rest of it can get colored in any way you want as long as you're paying attention to contrast. So the stuff in the background is going to have less contrast and the stuff in the foreground is going to have more contrast. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you got some information that's new, exciting, creative, and you can take it into any art project that you do from today and into the future. Please share with us what you create, and thank you so much for taking the time to be creative today.